Now, looking at destroying these and killing them, a lot of times they're hard to detect because you don't really even know they're there. But what we want to do is make them lose their reproductive capability. Even though they may be under conditions where they could continue to grow, we want them to not be able to reproduce. The factors that affect their death, of course, would be how many of them there are and the nature of the microbes in the population. Usually it's going to be a broad spectrum. We're going to look at the temperature and the pH of the environment to control them, and the concentration or dosage of the agent that's being used and how the agent acts, and whether there's organic matter or solvents, things like saliva or blood or feces there. So all of these things will affect the death rate. The cellular targets of the physical agents and the chemical agents, one would be the cell wall. And what it is trying to do with the cell wall is to break down the peptidoglycan layer so that the cell can lyse. And we want that cell to become very fragile. So there are some antimicrobial drugs, detergents are used here, and alcohols will affect the cell walls. The second thing that they target is the cell membrane. And we use surfactants here because we want it to lose its integrity or its selective permeability. The third thing is protein and nucleic acid synthesis. We want it to prevent replication or translation or transcription or protein synthesis. The agent may bind to the DNA or the ribosomes. And here you would use UV radiation, formaldehyde, things like that. And then the last thing that they target is protein function, because we want them to break the bonds between the secondary and tertiary structures of the protein so that they denature them and they're not viable anymore. And this would be your alcohols and your phenols and acids and heats. So that brings us to our first concept check question. If you wipe your hands with an antimicrobial cleaner, you are accomplishing which process? If you chose antisepsis, good for you.